I am Miles McGee, private investigator here in downtown Pittsburgh, an old city with newer secrets layered on top of the old ones, a place where people love and live, but also hate and die. I work when people do the latter. I've had my own practice for some years now. The case I'm about to tell you happened not too long ago. This is the case of the Brasher Doubloon. People hire me for two reasons. Either they've lost something they cannot replace or they're about to. Mrs. Tyler called about the first. I took the Parkway West out to Shady Side on Tuesday morning when the traffic was light and the sky was that particular shade of gray Pittsburgh does better than anywhere else. The neighborhoods changed gradually as I drove. Working class gave way to professional. The professional gave way to established. By the time I turned onto Fifth Avenue, the trees were older than most of the people living under them. The Tyler house sat back from the street behind a low stone wall and an iron gate that had not been closed in years. Victorian, 3 stories, dark brick with a white trim, the kind of place built when people still believed wealth was something you demonstrated through architecture rather than quarterly earnings reports. I parked in a circular drive and checked my glasses. Fully charged, camera lens cleaned. I adjusted them in my breast pocket so the lens pointed up, standard procedure. I record every client meeting, not for evidence, for reference. People forget what they said. I do not. Diamond tennis bracelet, gold necklace with a sapphire pendant, real stones, real gold. Chosen what they were, not how they sparkled. I'm Sophia, she said. She smiled as she said it, the kind of smile meant to shorten distance. Please, call me Sophia. She held my gaze just long enough to make the invitation clear. Then call me Miles, I said. Her smile widened a fraction. She liked that. She led me through a foyer with crown molding and hardwood floors into a study that smelled faintly of old paper and furniture polish. The walls were lined with display cases, coins, hundreds of them, some mounted individually, some arranged in sets, all labeled with dates and descriptions in careful handwriting. My husband's collection, she said, noticing my attention. Charles spent 20 years building it. He had good taste. He liked things. He liked old things, she said. Coins, houses, neighborhoods, history. Well, that explained Shadyside. She gestured to a chair and sat across from me, crossing her legs with practiced ease. The jewelry caught the attention when she moved. Every piece, she knew exactly how to make that happen. She flirted the way some people breathe, and she was very good at it. In another time and place, I might have enjoyed it. But I was working. Let's start at the beginning. Why'd you call me here, I asked. Something was stolen, she replied. Something valuable. She reached for a folder on the side of the table and opened it. Inside were insurance documents, several high-resolution photographs. The Brasher Doubloon, she continued, sliding one of the photos across me. 1787, one of the first gold coins minted in America. Charles acquired it 8 years ago. It's insured for $10 million. I studied the photo. Gold coin about the size of a $50, worn but intact. On one side, an eagle. On the other, a sunrise over mountains with the word Excelsior beneath it. $10 million, I said. The insurance company's appraisal, she replied. When it was purchased, it was worth $3. How many exist? 7 are registered, she said. This one is in excellent condition, second best of the 7. And it went missing? 3 months ago, she said, shortly after Charles passed. I'm sorry for your loss. Heart attack, she said. He was 55. The doctor said, it happens. She said it easily, a bit too easily. When did you notice the coin was gone, I asked. Well, organizing his things, she said. The safe was open, the slot was empty. Did you report it to the police? No. Why not? She smiled again, softer this time. I prefer to keep things discreet. Police complicate matters. Insurance companies complicate them even more. You filed a claim? I had to, she said, but I would much rather recover the coin quietly and withdraw it. Do you know who took it? I have a suspicion. A man named Lorenzo Moretti. He handled Charles' computer systems. What kind of systems? Security, trading software, monitoring, all of it. He came monthly. He had access to the office, to the safe. You think he stole it? I think he had the opportunity and the motive. Did he know what it was worth? She smiled. Everyone knows what $10 million looks like. I leaned back in my chair. And you want me to confirm whether he has it? And recover it, she said, before this becomes unpleasant. Unpleasant how? She shrugged. Questions, delays, attention. Attention. She did not like that word. Do you have his address, I asked. Yes, she slid a card across the table. Bloomfield, above a coffee shop. I stood. I'll speak with him. She rose as well, walked me to the door. The jewelry caught the light again as she moved. Real weight, real value. She seemed to like things like that. Thank you, Miles, she said. She said my name easily, like she intended to keep using it. I'll call you when I learn something, I said. Outside, I sat in my car for a moment before starting the engine. She had hired me to find a coin, straightforward on paper, except nothing about her felt straightforward. Not the timing, not the way she spoke, not the way she smiled. I took my glasses from the pocket and transferred the recording of our meeting to my phone. People always say more than they mean to. I pulled out of the drive and headed towards Bloomfield. On my way, I made a call to the insurer of the Doubloon. Lorenzo's office was in Bloomfield, above a coffee shop that smelled like burnt espresso and ambition. Freelancers sat hunched over laptops, pretending to work while watching others fail. I climbed the narrow stairs and knocked on the door with a brass nameplate. L. Moretti, Technology Services. The man who answered was maybe 40, thin, glasses. The careful posture of someone who had spent too much time sitting and too much effort staying alert. Yes, he said. Lorenzo Moretti? That's me. Miles McGee. Sophia Tyler sent me. Something moved behind his eyes. Not fear, assessment. Come in, he said. The office was clear and was small and tidy. 2 monitors on a desk. No personal photos, no clutter. Cables routed evenly. Equipment labeled. A chair that cost more than it needed to. Technology Services, I said, nodding at the sign. That's what clients understand, he replied. I sat without being invited. Sophia thinks you took something from her husband's office, I said. I know, he said. She would. Brasher Doubloon worth $10 million. I'm aware of what it's worth, he said. I didn't take it. You had access. Well, so did she, he said. So did the housekeeper. So did anyone who ever walked in that room. Blaming me is convenient. You handled security, I said. Yes. Not IT, I said. He looked at me more carefully this time. People prefer not to hear the word security. It makes them nervous. You weren't maintaining software. You were monitoring systems? Among other things. You saw everything, I said? Enough, he said. Enough to know when something disappeared. Enough to know when something worse happened, he said. That was the tell. Where were you 3 months ago, I asked. Here, he said, working, logged, time-stamped. Records can be altered. So can accusations, he said. I stood. If you have the coin, returning it would make your life easier. I don't have it, he said, but I appreciate the advice. Do you know who does? He smiled faintly. I have suspicions. Can you share them? No. That was as far as it went. I left and sat in my car for a moment, watching people drift in and out of the coffee shop below. Lorenzo hadn't lied to me. He hadn't told me the truth either. At least not all of it. Lorenzo was calm, prepared. He had already thought through the conversation before I arrived. I called Sophia. Did you find it? She asked. I spoke with Lorenzo. I said, he denies having the coin. Of course he does. I'd like to see Charles' office, I said, where the coin was kept. There was a pause, just long enough. When? She asked. Now. I suppose that's fine, she said. I'm home. 20 minutes later, I was back at Shadyside. Sophia met me at the door wearing different jewelry, still expensive, still deliberate. She led me upstairs to his office, the same display cases, the same careful labels, the safe in the wall stood empty and open. That's where it was, she said. And Lorenzo had access? He came monthly, she said. Charles trusted him. May I asked, gesturing to the desk. Of course. She stepped out. Desk was orderly, files stacked square, a laptop closed in the center. I opened it. 4-digit PIN. I tried the obvious one, 000-9999-1234. Then I tried the house address. It unlocked. The desktop was loaded. trading software, email, logs, everything labeled by date. Then I saw the folder marked security. Inside were camera feeds, 6 of them. Office, hallway, bar area, all live. I opened the archive. I found the dates Charles Tyler died. I pressed play. Charles sat at the desk reading. The door opened. Sophia entered with a mug. She smiled. He smiled back. She set it down and left. He drank, returned to his work. 45 minutes later, he lay down on the couch. 10 minutes after that, Sophia came back. She leaned over him, reached for his arm, did something quick, and practiced. He went still. She waited, watched. Then she left. I stopped the video. I had seen executions when I was in the force. This looked very similar. Potassium chloride used in executions would look like a heart attack. Quiet, clean, no struggle. Heart attack at 55, no one would question it. I was sure Lorenzo had seen this. He hadn't gone to the police, so he must have gone to Sophia. I transferred the file to my phone, closed the laptop, left the room exactly as I found it. Sophia was waiting downstairs. Find anything, she asked. Nothing useful, I said. She smiled. Told you. Outside, I sat in my car and didn't start the engine. Sophia had killed her husband. Lorenzo was undoubtedly blackmailing her, and she had hired me to walk into the middle of it. I had an idea what came next. She was going to kill Lorenzo, and I was probably going to be standing there when it happened. I drove east until the neighborhoods changed again, then pulled over on a quiet side street off Penn Avenue and shut the engine off. The city settled around me, distant traffic. A bus sighing at a stop, someone's radio leaking music through an open window. Ordinary life continuing while something else took shape. Sophia had killed her husband. Not impulsively, not in anger. She had planned it. Potassium chloride, clean, clinical, something she had probably read about more than once before she ever bought it. It stopped the heart without drama. No struggle, no mess. It left behind a death that fit the man's age well enough to pass without argument. 45. Young enough to raise eyebrows, but old enough to avoid any questions. Charles Tyler had done everything else right. Security camera, logs, systems that ran, whether anyone paid attention or not. He trusted policy. That was what killed him. He never imagined a threat would come from inside the room, holding a coffee mug. Lorenzo had seen it all. That was the part that mattered. He had watched the footage. He had understood exactly what he was looking at. Instead of taking it to the police, he had decided to price it. That was a mistake people like Lorenzo made over and over again. They mistook information for power. They thought possession of the truth gave them control over it. It never did. Truth only has value if someone is afraid of it. Sophia was not afraid. She was careful. That Lorenzo had already lost the moment he decided to blackmail her. Blackmail only works when a person on the other end still has something to lose. Sophia had already crossed that line. One body was behind her. The second one would not change the shape of her future if it solved a problem at all. It would just simplify things for her. Phone rang. I answered. It was Sophia. Lorenzo's coming over at 8 tonight, she said. Why? I asked her. He wants to sell the doubloon back to me, she said. Now why does she want me there? She doesn't need me to kill him, so why this charade? Tonight is going to end badly for someone, I thought. I bet she's going to kill him. I was supposed to be standing in the room when it happened. I sat there for a while, running the sequence forward and backward. Lorenzo arrives, words exchanged, gun comes out, Sophia plays the frightened widow. Police arrive to find one man dead and one private investigator with connection to both. Or maybe both dead, killing each other. Simple, clean, convincing enough, unless the timing was wrong, unless someone was listening. I called Shaughnessy. He picked up the phone on the second ring. Miles, you sound like you're about to ask me for a favor. Tonight, 8 o'clock, Shady Side. That got his attention. What kind of tonight? The kind where I don't want to explain things after. There was a pause. I could picture him leaning back in the chair, weighing my voice instead of my words. You want units nearby? I want you listening and I'll handle the rest. I'll need you to come in when the moment's right. Another pause. I'll keep a line open, he said. That's all I need. I ended the call. I drove back toward Shadyside slowly, not because I needed the time, but because I wanted the city to feel normal when I arrived. I wanted to be relaxed, to not show anything as wrong. The old phone was in my jacket pocket, small, an old one with a small LED screen. It existed for one reason. I placed the call, checked to make sure someone was listening, then muted it. Sophia answered the door like she had been expecting company she wanted to see. Relaxed, comfortable, certain. After we entered, I returned back to the door, opened it, pretended to see if I was followed. Then I unlocked the door, making sure it would be open as I shut it. Saying, good, no one following me. Always checking. Habit of my business. Lorenzo will be here soon, she said. I thought we could talk while we wait. Sure. She poured herself a drink and checked her phone while the ice settled. Messages, notifications. A woman curating the ending. I sat where she indicated and let the silence stretch. People talk when silence makes them uncomfortable. Sophia didn't mind it. She had already decided how this night would end. I need the bathroom, I said. She nodded without looking up. People stop watching the moment when they think you are harmless. But I didn't go to the bathroom. I walked down the hall at an ordinary pace, listening to the house, old floors, solid construction, a place built to last longer than the people inside it. Her voice drifted from a study behind me, still speaking, still explaining something she believed no longer mattered. The bedroom was exactly where it should have been, clean, ordered, personal, in a way expensive spaces always are. Nothing out of place because nothing had ever been allowed to wander. I did not search. I went straight to the jewelry case. This is where I thought she might keep her the doubloon. This is where she keeps her valuable things. So it's a possibility. The Brasher doubloon sat among the emerald and diamond like it belonged there. The insurance company will be so happy. She had not hidden it. She had curated it. I took it. I slid it under the dresser, close enough to retrieve, far enough not to vanish. Then I closed the case, straightened it, and walked down the hall. Sophia looked up when I returned. She smiled. Everything about her said she thought I was exactly where she wanted. The doorbell rang. That'll be Lorenzo, she said. She answered the door herself. Lorenzo stepped inside, carrying his laptop like a shield. He stopped when he saw me. What's he doing here, he asked. He's helping me resolve this, Sophia said. You both are. Lorenzo did not like that. He shifted his weight, looked at the door. Too late for that now. The money? He asked. Upstairs, in the safe. She smiled when she said it, the same smile she had used on me, the one meant to shorten distance. We went upstairs to the study. Coins watched us from behind the glass. Charles Tyler's life reduced to artifacts. Sophia moved behind the desk. Lorenzo stayed where he was. I stayed where I was. Sophia opened the drawer and took out her gun. No hesitation, no drama. That was when I knew I had timed it right. Sophia did not raise the gun right away. She held it low, casual, like it had already decided, and there was no need to rush. The room was quiet enough that I could hear Lorenzo breathing. Short, shallow pulls through his nose. He knew exactly where he was and why. This didn't have to be unpleasant, she said. Lorenzo laughed once. Came out wrong, too sharp. You killed him, he said. I saw it. You watched it, she corrected. There's a difference. She glanced at me when she said it, not to include me, to place me. He was weak, she went on. Charles liked systems, policies, rules. He thought if he followed them, nothing bad could happen to him. He never noticed the person standing in front of him. She stepped closer to Lorenzo. You made the same mistake. Lorenzo shook his head. I just want to be paid. You wanted leverage. You wanted control. She smiled then, not the flirtatious one this time. This one was smaller, colder. You never had it. The gun came up. Don't do that, Sophia. The police are listening. Lorenzo froze. So did Sophia. Sophia lowered the gun and looked at me. Before I could answer, the door crashed open. Door jamb undoubtedly destroyed. Boots on hardwood. Voices. Calm, controlled. Police! Shaughnessy shouted. Sophia lowered her gun. She turned towards the sound, confusion flickering across her face. How did you? Shaughnessy stepped into the doorway, his eyes moving from Lorenzo to the gun to me. That'll do. Put it down. She looked at me again. You called them? I shook my head. No. Her eyes narrowed. I reached into my jacket pocket, took out the old phone. Small, almost no screen, still warm. You talked. We listened. For a moment, she just stood there. Then the understanding settled in. She laughed softly once. Of course, she said. I should have known. She set the gun on the desk and stepped back. Shaughnessy nodded to an officer who moved in and cuffed her and Lorenzo. Lorenzo was surprised. Why me? He yelled. Shaughnessy said, blackmail, impeding a murder investigation without withholding evidence. I don't know, maybe a few more things we'll think of. As they led her past me, she stopped. I thought I had you fooled, she said. I wasn't playing your game. You were playing mine, I said. She looked away. When they cleared the room, I walked down the hall to the bedroom, Shaughnessy followed without asking questions. I knelt and reached under the dresser. The coin slid into my hand with familiar weight. I carried it back and placed it in Shaughnessy's palm. That's your missing doubloon. He turned it at once, then nodded. Yeah, insurance will be pleased, he said. I know I am. Later on, after the house was emptied and the noise faded, I went home. April was waiting with a paper bag that meant that she had already decided what I was eating. Alaska salmon, she said, and arugula. She set it on the counter and looked at me. Long night? Yeah. Was it rough, she said. Profitable, I replied. Really, she asked. I knew she was curious. Yep, $150,000 insurance finder's fee. Not bad for a few days' work. She smiled. Eat. I did. After a day like that, it was enough. You just listened to Miles McGee, private detective on Dillon's Radio Theater, written, produced, and narrated by Craig K. Dillon. For access to future productions and the full archive, you can subscribe on Substack or Patreon. Links are in the description.